What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, we're going to be playing around with a title called Mind Over Magic. We checked out a limited run demo of this game a good while back, and now it's time for us to take a look at the actual final product that's being sold for money. This is a game that is being published by Clay, who have a notorious reputation. I don't know if notorious is the right word. A gleaming reputation for putting out good games, and so I think they had a good eye with this one. I've been playing around with the title for about 3 hours now, just kind of getting my feet wet and feeling things out, and I think I'm ready to tender my first impressions of the game. So if after watching this you wanted to get the game for yourself, I got a link for you down below in the description. You can check it out there. On top of that, if you also wanted to hang out live, I have a link for you down below in the description. You can check that out. It will go to my Discord and my Twitch stream, just in case you wanted to kick it. But what is Mind Over Magic? Mind Over Magic is a wizarding school game. There's been a couple of these, but not as many as I would have expected, given the relative popularity of things like Harry Potter, wizards, you know, shooting lightning out of your eyes and fireballs out of your ass. This is a game where you are running a wizard school, but you're not just running a wizard school in a vacuum. You're running a wizard school in the midst of a cataclysm that's threatening to end the world. And so the real goal of the game is just to keep the darkness back and away from your school so that all of you and your staff and your students don't end up getting eaten by dark forces. In order to accomplish that, you're going to be going through and you are going to be doing all kinds of rituals to cast back the darkness. These take varying amounts of alchemy reagents. They take all kinds of stuff in order to make that happen. There's also supplementary rituals and things that will unlock as you get further and further on into the game. And that's where the principal treadmill of this title comes from, is that you're always kind of low on something, and you're always trying to shore up some kind of deficit in order to keep expanding the school, get more students so that you can have more graduates. When your students graduate, they can either become members of the staff, and they can become apprentices, and then they can become teachers at the school. Or you can actually have them converted into relics that can be wielded by your other wizards in order to make them more powerful, and the treadmill continues. And so speaking of deficits, what I'm doing right now inside the confines of the game is that I'm trying to get access to a new mine over here. I don't really have the availability, so the surface has a lot of things that grow and are useful to your school and will make life a lot easier. However, some of them replenish and some of them do not. The usual culprits here, things like plants, things like animals, those come back with time no matter what you do. However, mineral resources, stuff like iron and stone and more advanced materials, do not come back once you strip them off the surface, and thus you're going to have to go down underneath the school, which is a labyrinth of catacombs, and you clear them out room by room to unlock new little procedural areas that have resources and mobs and all kinds of stuff inside of them so that you can keep that never-ending deluge of resources coming on in. Combat in this game is very JRPG influenced. If you've ever played anything like, you know, Final Fantasy or Darkest Dungeon or anything else like that, it's a you go, I go system with an initiative track on the top. Every single character, based on whatever element they're specializing in inside the school, will have different abilities that unlock at different thresholds once they've gone through enough classes and once they've gotten their XP up to an appropriate level. When you max out a character, that's when they're ready to either be converted into staff or when they're ready to graduate and give you a free relic. So the battle is now over. And what do we have going on inside of here? We got a pantry down here? Why is there a pantry inside this room? Strange. I don't have the iron I need, and I was really hoping from that fight I would get some iron. But let me take you through the bowels of my school here. We'll do a little bit of like a colonoscopy for this place and explain what everything does so that you're not left in the lurch and you're not confused about what is happening. At its core, this is a colony survival game. It plays exactly like RimWorld. It plays exactly like Oxygen Not Included. Any of those other titles that you've ever seen inside of this genre. You are managing staff. You're managing things like schedules and what people are doing at various times of the day. They have priorities. All of this stuff is going to be really familiar if you've ever played a colony survival game before, but really the core of your entire school is the mana font. This right here, every single character in the game has a mana bar. When it gets down to 0, they can't really do anything, and because they use magic to use all of their skills, so for example, they don't get an axe to chop down a tree, they take a nature wand and they fire it at the tree and it becomes kind of like a magical bandsaw, and it chops the tree down. That costs the mana. Same thing for harvesting plants or mining or whatever else you might want to do inside the game. Everyone needs to come back here in order to recharge whenever their mana gets low. I've got a research console over here. This is where you can go on into the tech tree and you can check out all the new fun things that you can unlock for your school. Everything from decorations to make the place more prestigious and beautiful, to supplementary things like platforms or, I guess, support columns that'll hold up floors, to new crafting benches. Everything is going to be inside of here. In about 3 hours, this is about as far as I've gotten in the tech tree. Teching up in this game is very slow. You will find that there's a lot of times where you kind of just let the game run on its own, and then you like listen to a podcast or something. I do think research could afford to go a little bit faster, but then again, I don't really have anybody specialized in lightning in my school either, and lightning is the thing that makes all of your research happen. Every single element in the game has a number of different things and jobs that it allows people to do inside the school. And I also wasn't doing research nonstop here because I needed those wizards to help out with other stuff. So I probably could have gotten off like 3 more researches from here. Roughly extrapolating, I would say, just from what I've hit so far, early access probably has like 15 hours of gameplay in it. But once again, that's an extrapolation. Every time I say something like that, just going from my own experience, people are like, 15 hours of content, game's dead. That's not what I said. What I said was, early access probably has like 15, 20 hours of gameplay in there because I've played for 3 hours and that's how far I've gotten into the research panel here. So I'm guessing, you know, times 5 to get all the rest of the other stuff done. It's a rough approximation. From there, I've also got the ritual book over here. This allows you to do all kinds of stuff. It allows you to do everything from push back the fog to promote your characters inside of the confines of the school, whatever you want to do there. It's basically magic rituals that a bunch of people have to collaborate in order to get done that tend to have far-reaching effects on either the fog or the weather or something else as you're playing the game. This right here is a wand crafter. Every single mage that comes into your school being summoned from this little summoner over here needs a wand that'll set up what they're good at and what element they have. So for example, my teachers are earth elemental and fire elemental, and then they get bonuses. There's like a pentacle. They get, well, I guess it wouldn't be a pentacle. There's 7 elements, but the elements that you're good at determine what things you are minorly good at and what things you are terrible at. The lowest you can have is 1 skill in every element. My students right now are water and nature. I just graduated 2 students that were, I think, lightning and earth as well, and so it's probably about time for us to take in a new student too. So I would actually come over here and let's take a look at our wands and see what we can craft. I've never had anybody that's wind elemental, so I would be interested in trying that out. Let's get a wind elemental wand. And I've never had a darkness wizard either, and I don't think I've had... No, I had a lightning mage at one point, but let's go with a darkness wand since I've never seen what that entails. And so we'll get both of those crafted on out, and once we have a wand that we can gift to our students, you should see teachers come over here and start crafting the wand. If you've seen it in another colony game, you've seen it here. You've got beds, you've got medical beds, you've got decorations. The rooms take on the form of whatever they're doing. Over here, these guys are skanking like it's 1995. They've got real big fish up on the gramophone, and, you know, sell out with me, oh yeah, sell out with me tonight. And so they're all recreating right now to fill up their recreation meter. Every single character in the game has things that you need to pay attention to and a character sheet. This character sheet has a lot of information to process inside of it, but I promise the game is really easy to pick up. If you've played any colony survival game before, the core basics of this title will be really easy to pick up, which is a good thing, because the game doesn't really have a tutorial. It has a glossary that pops up when you get faced with new things and you've got to read it on out of there, but there's no tutorial that you're going to play through to learn how to make your school function. Just not a thing inside the game right now, but everybody can have different wands of their element that give them higher and higher thresholds that they can train their skills on up to. They've got stats over here like how fast they walk around. They've got their ability to fight. They've got their mana, their HP, their overall character level. There's different races. There's everything from zombies to wolfmen to humans. They all come in randomly. You don't know what you're going to get whenever you summon a new student. Over here you can see the thresholds of training at which you're going to get new spells that will make the character stronger in a fight. And then this down here is how you promote people and kind of convert them from initiates to apprentices to staves, so on and so forth. And then there's your relic slots right there. Some characters have 4 because they're gifted, and relic slots are meaningful. That's why you want to graduate your characters, is so you can fill out these relic slots with all kinds of goodies so that these characters kind of push past their limits and become more useful to you. Right now, what I'm working on inside the game is I'm just cleaning out all these little corridors to get myself more iron and to get myself more resources. I'm waiting for everybody to heal right now because they're a little bit beat up from that fight that we just took. They don't heal naturally on their own unless they're sleeping or unless they're inside of a medical bed. I'm farming on this side. You can see the big wall of darkness over here that's going to eat the school on this side. I find the parallax they've got going on in the background that they've set up to be very, very beautiful. Actually, everything about this game is really well done. It's got good animation. It's got a good soundscape. It's got a good sort of Danny Elfman soundtrack going on with it. And so far, the presentation half of the game has all been very, very nice, and I've enjoyed it. Since iron is our fundamental problem right now, though, we need to start pushing in directions that are going to give us a lot of iron. And so it looks like down on this floor, we've got a times 50 iron that we'll get from taking out that room right there. So I'll probably do that somewhat shortly. Over here, I'm in the process of expansion and moving things around and making the place a little bit nicer, but I ran out of iron, so I'm kind of like living on meager circumstances right now. We can't afford to get a floor in over here, but I don't know if it'll extend far enough from that side in order to get it done. It may or may not be successful. And it looks like we have a battle available at a Malice Crystal. I don't think I've ever gotten that event before, so I don't know what a Malice Crystal is. A battle awaits you at the Malice Crystal. Risk mortal peril for rewards. Okay, so where is this Malice Crystal at? Over there? Oh, dude, that's way out there, and it's enemy level 6. Might be a little messy. None of my characters are quite ready for level 6 yet. It looks like our Air Wand and our Earth Wand are done, though, so I think we can summon new initiates. So let's get a Air Wand lined up. We'll begin the ritual, and we'll get our first Air Mage, our first Aeromancer, and see how he goes. And then our next character will be the Darkness Mage, which I feel a little bit hesitant about bringing on into our society, but like I guess we'll find out the hard way whether or not that's a good or a bad idea. I need to put in support columns here. The game does have physics and like weight to these buildings. They don't crumple with physics or anything else like that. All I mean to say is that each of these blocks can only be so far from the nearest support column. So if you like to build big, long, wide rooms like I do, you're going to find yourself spending a lot of iron on just these columns like these right here in order to give yourself an extra little bit of breathing room to make everything function. I am going to scooch these beds over ever so slightly. The game does allow you to freely move objects as much as you want. It should be no muss, no fuss. There we go. So we'll get that in right there, and once those have all been moved around, these guys will be covered up. This floor will leak, though, and have pooling water if it starts to rain because we don't have any roof tiles above it, and falling rain and pooling water tend to cause problems. We also got our Air Mage. Her name is Estelle, and so she'll start attending classes, and she'll start leveling up all of her elemental affinities. It looks like she's got a level 3 in air. That's not incredible, but it'll do. I don't have any relics. Well, that's a bummer, because I graduated somebody. I don't know what relic I don't have. Hurtful. As soon as Wolfus over here is nice and healed up, we'll probably take a battle down inside the dungeon to get some more iron. Hopefully, I'm hoping due to the iron richness of this reward right here, there's going to be a bunch of iron nodes inside of here, possibly even some stone nodes that'll help us fill up our coffers, because I'd like to expand and do some building while we're here on camera. Now that Wolfus is all nice and healed up, he's refilling the medical bed right here because he's using his water skill in order to fill up that little tank on top of it with medicine. I don't know if it's like wizard heroin or what it is, but I guess it makes us feel better. We'll take our battle group on in. Let's do this thing. And they're going to head on down, and you'll see them go down the stairs. They'll gather up on this door. We'll get ourselves some resources so that we can get another support strut inside of here. And then we'll just kind of see how we feel after that. Everybody climb on down there, and let's get this thing rocking. Okay, so we've got ourselves a Lantern Keeper and 2 Batkins. Alright, put Vengeance on everybody. That gives us damage reflection whenever we get hit. These guys are a little bit faster than we are, so we are going to take some damage here no matter what we do. I can probably soak you. That'll slow them down to the next turn on the initiative track, I think. It will not, actually, so we didn't really get like a massive bonus out of that. We're going to have him cast Earth Armor. It's a taunt, and it also gives him a damage shield. It forces everybody to focus on him. So these two have like a really nice 1-2 punch, despite the fact that my Fire Mage is a little bit weak out front. Let's go ahead and choke them out with some vines. We've got one of the mobs killed, and we've limited the field a little bit. We'll throw a fireball at him. We didn't quite clinch the kill, but they're all forced to attack my zombie Earth Mage right now. So it shouldn't be that bad. Let's fire. He's going to die on his next damage reflection, so we'll send some water off that way. Spell effects are fine in this game. I think they look good. They've got the appropriate amount of impact, and they feel pretty nice to use. Keep your Earth Armor up and running. I didn't realize that they got through your armor. It's going to take a while to heal up 70 health. We'll get that done right there. I've got everybody on like maximum priority bed rest, but I haven't set up like a proper medical ward yet inside my school that everybody can just get all their mojo back whenever they get tanked. And there's the kill. So let's get our ill-begotten gains from slaying the ghoulies and ghosties that live down beneath the surface. And it looks like we've got a couple of iron mines. Yeah, we've got all the stuff that I was hoping we would get down here. So let's grab all of it. I'm going to set it all up to be mined and taken care of. I don't really have enough people to do all these tasks. I only have the one Earth Mage, so it may behoove us to get a secondary Earth Mage as well. So let me get another wand over here, and we'll... Oh, we have an Earth Wand. Okay, well then let's summon an Earth Student then. Earth Student, come live at my school. We need another staff to get that done, though. Huh, okay. Well, let's get 2 staff then to summon us up another Earth guy. That way we've got somebody that can mine and they can help out. What is Gloom? The fog will advance at 150% of its normal rate for the duration of this event. Fair enough. Okay, that's fine. I've got plenty of resources stacked up in order to cast back the fog, so we should be in good shape from there. I was smart and I got my entire farming thing set up over here, so I should be sitting on a ridiculous amount of gut berries, which are one of the main reagents that you use in order to cast back the fog. They are now on bed rest, so that's good. They're recreating over here. Wolfus is by far the squishier between him and Victoria, the 2 instructors that I have, so I'm glad that he healed first because he's kind of a glass cannon. And the first thing I need is the relic storage area. So I think I'll add this real fast and we'll try to get it done. I don't really want anything else other than that. Rugs sound nice, though, to make the rooms more luxurious so people are happy inside of them. So we'll get some basic rugs going on, too, because I have a relic laying on the ground over here that nobody wants to come pick up for some reason. I assigned it to this guy, but he's not going and picking it up off the ground. So my assumption is that it needs to be put inside a relic container first, and then he'll go loot it out of storage. And it'll also give us access to an attunement bench, which allows people that have a relic to attune to that relic to make it, like, more effective, basically. Every character also has trials. Trials are just like little challenges for each character. Have them eat a certain food. Have them clean up a certain number of times. Have them defeat a certain number of enemy mob packs. If they do those things, they get an XP bonus that makes them stronger. But in addition, the relics that they manifest when they get promoted or when they get retired or when they get graduated, I think they get better based on how many of these trials you've done as well. So it can definitely be worth it to keep characters around, even though they're maxed out and they have the fully trained star on their portrait, just to make sure they get all of their little bonuses for having them graduate on out. Everyone is healed up, but I think before too long we're going to have to repel the fog. It's going to cost us some wood and some gut berries, but I'll probably do this twice just to buy us a little bit of time. We'll have one of our new students help out with this because they get an XP bonus for it, and the other guys are maxed out on XP anyways, and I'm just waiting to either make them into staff or make them into relics, basically. But as you can see right here, they're doing the relic, and you'll see this get pushed back momentarily. There you go. And so we've pushed back the fog pretty aggressively. Like, that should buy us a few more days worth of time to play around with. It did cost us a lot of our wood, though. Occasionally, you're going to see characters, so when students level up any of their wizard schools, they drop Gnosis shards on the ground. Gnosis shards are a special resource that you use in order to just do things on certain rituals. If you have them, they give you more options to play around with. How are you guys doing on your training? So it looks like she's hit level 1 in Earth Magic, Nature Magic, and now she's working on Lightning Magic. Estelle got level 1 in Fire, Water, Darkness, and is now working on other things. Okay, that's cool. Now that we have the iron that we needed, I would like to put in a support column over here and see if that helps out with, yeah, it'll let me finish off this floor right here, which will be useful. Then I would like a door that goes through like the scullery or like the cooking area right there so that we can access this area. You do have to appropriately light all of these rooms, otherwise mushrooms grow inside of them that shoot you with a death laser that drains your mana. There's one right there. I've had trouble keeping the lighting up, but I'm guessing there's more advanced lighting further on down the tech tree that provides more brightness. So if you're noting how many torches I have scattered all over the place, it wasn't an aesthetic decision. It's just that I had to spam torches everywhere in order to stop mushrooms from growing nonstop and eating up my work schedule and also draining out all my mana and making everybody super inefficient. Did we get... We did get basic relics done, so that's good. Basic relics are finished off. Let's go to our construction menu, and it looks like we can get an attunement bench, which I think would be a great idea. So let's get an attuning bench right there. And I would like to build a pulverizer, I suppose. We'll put those side by side in that corner because it centers out nicely inside of our inner sanctum of wizardry. Hey, and Brandon picked up his relic. Very nice. So he should come over here in like a tune or something. I guess he decided not now for attunement. This bedroom is now done, but I need to get the lighting level up inside of here because I'm not trying to fight fires nonstop when it comes to the lighting level. So we'll put a torch up there, we'll put a torch right there, we'll put a torch right there, and we'll put a torch right there. And then I want to put windows in the back, but in order to make windows, we've got to harvest these little ice flower things down here. I hope they add it so you can right-click on this stuff to auto-harvest it. You can't do that right now. I got to go click the tool, or I got to click on the object, then click on the box that says harvest. But I would like a faster way of harvesting, and it doesn't look like you can middle click it out or right click it out without growing and grabbing the tool. But some kind of contextual interaction right there would speed up my gameplay tremendously. It's also sometimes difficult to click on things that are hidden in the background and the foreground because all these areas are made up of multiple cells that are around. Brandon is now finally attuning himself to Cat's Living Branch, which will raise up his nature level by 1, which will be pretty helpful, actually, because I think he gets something at level 4 or something like that. So he's got Surging Strength. At level 4, he's going to get Surging Strength, too, so that's going to give us more attack power in combat. It's a buff that he can run on people when we're lined up for fighting. Is this room illuminated properly? 'Tis not, unfortunately. But my ghosty buddy over here, every single school starts out with a gravestone that gives you a free ghost that just does work. The ghost has 1 skill and everything. And so he takes a little bit of the pressure off when it comes to loads and loads of tasks. There's a thunderstorm coming in, so we should probably get on top of that too. So let's put in a wall over here. And once the wall is in, we'll want to roof this off. We'll confirm that right there. The roofs in this game always look kind of like wonky, and you've got a slider that you can play around with that determines how kind of like Tim Burton-y the roofs look. But for now, I think we're in good shape. I would like this bedroom to get a little bit nicer, but I don't know what I have that I can put inside of it that will make it a little bit more livable. That adds scholarly luxury. Okay, I don't really want scholarly luxury. I wanted, like, the more normal kind of luxury that just makes the students happy about being here. Because right now, this thing looks like a pinstripe coffin, man. This room is giving me, like, I'm not even that claustrophobic, and I'm feeling claustrophobic about sleeping in it just looking at it. Something weird about a room with no windows, right? So let's fix that. We now have windows available, too. Unfortunately, I don't think said windows will be centered. So we'll just take them 2 off from the sides of the room, and hopefully that gives us enough illumination to where we don't get catastrophic amounts of fungal growth inside of here. And now the thunderstorm is on us. So the thunderstorm is going to make it rain. As you can see, water is now dripping in through the roof. If water hits any of your decorations, it causes damage to them. And then they need to be repaired. On top of that, you're also going to get struck by lightning all the time. So losing the roof right there made the back wall fall out. And so we've got a little bit of repair tasks to do for the next little X amount of time. It's hard to say how long the thunderstorm's going to rage for, but hopefully it doesn't do too much more damage, because it looks like we're going to spend the next couple days fixing things. The thunderstorm is broken and we're in rough shape. We got beat up pretty good. It's going to be a while till we get ourselves resituated, so I suppose that's just kind of life. But repairs are underway, so hopefully by the end of the day we'll be back and taken care of. It looks like they've already fixed the floors and knocked everything out so far. So hopefully it'll be alright. I may move this gruel pot over to here so that cooking is done inside this room, and then I may just like destroy those two bookcases since they're not giving any kind of bonus to this room right here to make things work better. But construction was definitely impeded upon by the Thunder God. Call him whatever you want. Call him Thor, you know, call him Zeus. Whoever's throwing lightning bolts, though, is not a big fan of us right now, and everything is broken and destroyed, so we need to get that fixed up. There we go. Now we've got everything all cleared out, so I'm sort of reclaiming this room over here and just using this as a general dormitory with beds that allow people to sleep a little bit faster so that they can get back to work. It didn't convert this area into a kitchen just yet, and I'm hoping that it will soon, but I think we just got access to rugs too, and so that adds scholarly luxury, this adds peaceful luxury, and that adds creepy luxury. Okay. My assumption would be that we want peaceful luxury inside the sleeping area, so we'll just put a big long runner over here because everybody could use a little calming before you go to bed, dude. You ever tried to crash out and you're like worried about the stuff that's gonna happen tomorrow, or like your performance at that stuff, and like you can't catch a wink because of it? Anything that makes the place more relaxing and more restful and easier for people to fall asleep inside of is gonna be okay by me. And I do think that the background textures of the room, they like change around as well, I think, as they get better at whatever it is that they do. And it did add some bonuses. The game comes with a bunch of different filters and things you can use to take a look at your rooms and see what's affecting them. A lot of my rooms are affected by having too many torches inside of them right now, which people don't like. So I need to start moving down the tech tree towards like better lighting solutions if I can. Let's take a look over here, and we'll just put in like light. And it should, we can lighten things up over here with hanging banners, a large arched window. We've got a solemn brazier. It looks like we have a solemn pedestal over there. And then we've also got rectangular windows, air wand tier 2. That might be nice. Might be kind of cool to pick up. We've got wind chimes. It looks like we've got an air apprentice mechanism that allows us to turn people into air apprentices. Okay, add that to the queue. Add that to the queue. Add that to the queue. It's probably going to take a little while to get it done, but like, it'll be fine. I need to get a lightning mage, and I need to have them go through the initiation process so that I can get a lightning mage on staff just to work on research all day, every day, because right now my research goes really slow and it leads to a lot of downtime. That would be my one big observation, having now played, including this video, the game for about 4 hours, is that it's a good colony builder. It's a really, really good colony survival simulator. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's very sort of, it's full of levity. It's a game that, you know, you can kind of like trundle your way through and like nothing terrible is going to happen. Thus far, I haven't really had any problems with any combat or keeping anybody happy so far. It's been pretty easy to manage on the normal difficulties. I haven't tried the higher difficulties. The only thing that stood out to me as a negative with this title is just that there's a lot of downtime. Like sometimes you just kind of let the colony run and watch something on Netflix while you wait for people either to train up so you can graduate them because you don't really have the resources to build anything right now and for things to get harvested. There's definitely been kind of 15-20 minute periods where I wasn't really doing anything and I just kind of left everybody running around taking care of tasks because until those tasks are done and we've stockpiled to a certain extent, there wasn't really much of a way for me to advance my school. And so it's a good game. It's a little tiny bit humdrum, but I think all colony survival games are a little bit humdrum too, unless they like lean towards the oxygen not included level, which is just pure frenetic, constantly trying to solve random problems in every single corner. And to be fair, I didn't like oxygen not included at all for exactly that reason. So this right here jives with me really, really well because the game I can kind of take at my own pace and it's not really pressing up on me that hard. Like there are little crises and things that you've got to get rid of. There are tactical fights and things that you have to do, but so far the game hasn't been that threatening. I could turn my brain off and play this title, whereas when I play oxygen not included, I feel like my brain is positively buzzing with all the things I need to get done, and that always led to me not liking that game very much, is just because it was like too much for me to manage, and I just kind of feel overwhelmed trying to fix things nonstop without too many breathers on the in-between. So I think the game's pretty cool. I think it's a lot of fun. I haven't seen any major issues outside of like minor pacing stuff where it can just take a while to get from like one thing to the next thing that you want to do with not a lot of input on the game. But other than that, I think it's a lot of fun. I think the other thing is I wish I could just right-click on stuff to give them like a harvest order so that I don't have to constantly open menus or grab tools off the toolbar down here. But that would be the only other suggestion that I have. The developers have been updating this early access over the last year or so. They've said that they're laying the foundations right now for things that they want to do with endgame content, and so that's what's coming up next. Is I've seen a lot of people complain that there's not a lot of stuff to do in the endgame once you've got like a really good school, and so it seems like they're focusing on that, but my impressions of the game thus far are positive. I like it. I think it's good. My name is Splattercat. I sift through the pile to find what's worthwhile in the world of indie games every single day so you don't have to. Today up on the chopping block, we were fooling around with Mind Over Magic, another banger from Clay. I will see you all later. Thank you for hanging out with me. That's about all I got for you, and I'll catch you all tomorrow with something hot and fresh off the indie skillet. Take care, folks.